if we're only stealing time. No, I won't stand to keep watching you stay. Ooh, go.
Welcome to Hide and Seek TV. I'm about to get ready to delve into a real deep video. I'm actually going to be talking about Bruce Lee in this video. And I want to really start this off on a high level, y'all. And I want to just thank everyone out there for who've been watching my videos. Thank you for, checking out my videos and commenting, subscribing, liking. And I really, like I said, I got y'all. I'm going to keep on dropping, you know what I mean? I just really appreciate, all the support. And I'm just glad to see, people are waking up to what I be talking about in these videos. So I just thank y'all for watching and everything. And I'm about to delve real deep into this. And I'm feeling good today, so I want to really want to delve into this right quick. So, first off, what I want to talk about, which is very serious, I'm gonna start it out with karate, and I'm gonna explain this right quick, because obviously we know you start off as the white belt and you work your way into the black belt. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand the white represent what is revealed. The white represents the light. The white represents what is seen. You feel what I mean? So when we understand this, which is so deep, is because you work your way through the colors to reach and achieve the black belt. Because when you understand what the black represents the whole theme of being hidden. The black represents the esoteric. The black, represents the pressure. Everything, how obviously black holds energy. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to really delve real deep into this because remember, as I get into this right quick, remember during the time of Jacob, remember during the time of Mount Pineal, hint pineal gland. But anyway, remember as it's written, it is because I saw God face to face, yet I did not die. You know what I'm saying? Because, the Most High hides himself. So you see how you go from the white to the black. You get what I'm saying? This stuff is that deep. And I'm going to really delve into this. This is why the Masons utilize the black and the white. So I want to tap high in this video because as you understand the karate, hint Kara, Kara. Remember I've been breaking this down about the name Kara. And when you understand Kara, all Kara means is the anointed Messiah, the anointed one. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to really delve into this because I'm actually going to be covering, just different aspects about what all of this really stand for. And I'm going to get into the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, battle later on in the video. But when you understand, Bruce Lee, as we know, what I've been talking about with the anti-Asian and everything of that, the anti, Asian, discrimination, things of that nature. Remember back in the 60s, you had a lot of that going on. You had the, the civil rights movement. And what we got to understand, it all goes back to what I just showed with the whole theme of the integrating. You know what I'm saying? The whole theme of the integrating. They just use colorism and things of that nature because we got to understand as people, that we're beacons of light. You know what I mean? And that our flesh, obviously, it's just a physical form of our light. Just a physical form of us in this, so we can exist in this metaphysical world. So when you understand that, which is so deep, is because when they did that, with all of the thing, remember the Asians were the ones who helped with the railroad. Remember that. So hence the whole theme of the bridging the gap. You get what I'm saying? And when you understand it too, remember during the time with the civil rights movement, that all led into everything becoming Americanized, everything becoming westernized. Do you get what I mean? So it's all of this stuff right here, hint the whole theme of the karate. I mean, he was what was it, Jeet Kondo, if I'm not mistaken, with his original style and how he mixed it and created the MMA. You feel what I'm saying? To do mixed martial arts. So it's like the whole theme of of like practically like the grafting in. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna delve deep on this. This is how all of this stuff. This is why the dragon is very important. And I'm gonna explain that real deep in this video because there's just no way around it. Like I said, always say it's all about who got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So I'm gonna start it out right quick with obviously you remember on the Game of Death, which is I think this movie is like 78. I think he died, what was it, 73 if I'm not mistaken, 72, 73. And you remember the Game of Death, he had on the yellow and the black and gold. Because remember I was talking about that earlier about the theme of the black, being revealed. Obviously, what it becomes like the black and the gold. Hint the bumblebee creating honey, aka prosperity. So you understand that all goes back. That's why Scorpion, remember he's Japanese, And remember that he has the black and the gold as well, because when you understand that, that represents the royalty, you know, in being the hidden and being revealed. You get what I'm saying? And when you understand that too, the yellow and black, obviously, remember, like I was talking about this before with Scorpion, how he holds the chain. I just want to elaborate on this. Remember how I said he's Japanese and how he holds the chain, because remember, the Messiah holds the chain. He has the keys of hell and death. That's why Scorpion's able to go through the rebirth, because remember, he'll die and come back here. When he beats someone, he'll go into the depths of hell and then revive back to the earth and become more empowered and more strengthened, because that all deals with going into the depths to, you know, to manifest with more strength via the fire, via illumination, enlightenment. You feel what I'm saying? How deep this stuff goes. And it's just all in our face, man. It's just like we got to understand, you know, what this stuff represents. So remember, Bruce Lee had the movie, Fist of Fury. Remember that movie? And it was, remember, he had what was like the big boss. Remember, he was battling, I think wasn't it about like his mentor had died on the film, remember? Then he ended up going to the funeral. They killed him, and then he ended up, you know, going through the whole theme of getting revenge. So hint through Death and Beyond, you know, the whole aspect of the death, because that represents the whole theme, like I was talking about before, the regeneration. Remember, the Messiah conquers death. You know what I mean? This stuff is that real. Hint the movie The Last Dragon years ago, back in the 80s, you had the yellow and the black as well. You feel what I mean? Or The Last Dragon, you had the yellow and the black as well. Hint, on the movie, you see the guy for the poster, what is it? The I Am, because you see you have the dragon and you have the maze. You feel what I'm saying? You see how you have the maze and you have the dragon, and you know, the whole theme of going through the chambers to reach to higher enlightenment. Hint the I Am. Because when you understand scripture, remember, as it's written in scripture, the Most High says, he told Moses, my name is I Am that I am. You know what I'm saying? So you see the whole theme of the maze of the I Am. And this stuff is that real. This is why on the movie Ip Man 4, you remember Billy was one of Bruce Lee's students. Remember, I've been breaking that down for a while now. Billy is short for William. Hint Exodus 3:14. I just read it, that I Am that I am is the Most High's name. Hint the will of I Am, will of God, William. You know, nickname Billy. You feel what I'm saying? It's redundant. I showed this a million times. So I want to just keep this thing going. Hint Billy Kane, you know, on the King of Fighters, he's one of the fighters. Billy Kane. Hint the Kane represents the rod. And hint Billy Jack, you know, black belt, judo champ. You see what I'm saying? You see that? Billy Jack. Hint Jack equals nothing but Jacob. You know, hint the 12 tribes of Jacob. You know what I mean? So you see how all of this stuff all goes back to the power of the dragon. And this stuff is real. This is why when Bruce Lee was born in 1940, he you know, he was born during the year of the dragon. And I'm gonna get deep on this. Hint 1976 is the year of the dragon as well. I'm gonna tap into that. 1976 is the year of the dragon as well, because remember, I've been breaking this down, that the Messiah is the headstone that the Masons reject to use. Hint Colossians 2:17, that the headstone at the 70, which is measured at 76 degrees, you know, foreshadow the kingdom that comes. You feel what I'm saying? Which is the body of Yahushua, aka Christ. In that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts. Hence 76 was the year of the dragon, and Bruce Lee was born in the year of the dragon back in 1940. And I want to talk about this because you remember there in the scriptures in Revelation 12, as it was written, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to the throne of God. So you see the whole theme of the power of the dragon. You get what I remember? I was talking about the whole thing earlier about the mixing the arts, you know what I'm saying? Because that all leads back to the whole theme of, you can look at it as a one world order. You know what I mean? How everything become mixed. That's why they had to push all of the, the discrimination and all of that. In order for you to become American, you had to go through discrimination, blah, 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 blah. You know how they try to push that, oh, you want to be us, you got to go through this. All of that leads back to the whole theme of the power of the dragon. You see what I'm saying? To be mixed in, and I'm gonna explain this later on. Remember when Bruce Lee fought Chuck Norris? Remember he had fought Chuck Norris. As you can see, you got the black and the white. Remember I was explaining the duality, the hidden and the seen. The white, notice Chuck is the one you got with the white, and you notice they're fighting in front of the stone wall. And you see how Bruce Lee have on the black, because I just showed you the stone wall. All that represents is the battle for the altar. That's why you have the Illuminati pyramid. It's them trying to say that they overtook, the throne. They overtook the altar of God, which would be for a sign and for a witness unto the Most High. So you see how they fighting in front of the stone wall. And when you got the white, what's his name? Chuck Norris with the white pants. Chuck, all that Chuck is nothing but you use a chuck for, raising up stones. So hint like the chuck system is what you use to raise up stones, to build up the altar, to build up, do carpentry work. Build, and use it to lift stones, bricks, etc. So that's why he had to battle against Chuck Norris, because hint, the whole theme of this movie, what was it called? The Way of the Dragon. You feel what I'm saying? It was called The Way of the Dragon, and that's why on the movie, remember, he showed that he was the master of nunchucks. You feel what I mean? Because notice in this scene, he has on the white and the black, and then he has the nunchucks, because when you, like I just told you what chuck mean, when you understand Nun, remember Nun was the father of Joshua. Remember during the time of the Exodus, Joshua is the son of Nun, and Joshua is the one who leads Israel into the land of Canaan. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand, what's his name, Chuck Norris too, remember Chuck Norris, he was the walking Texas Ranger. And when you understand that the Texas, like I've been breaking this down, hint Texas is the Lone Star, Lone Horn State. Hint the Messiah is the star of the East, and he's the horns of salvation. And you see like the Texas Ranger, the cowboy, because remember that it's written that the Messiah is as the cow, he's as the lion, he's as the son of man, and that he's the flying eagle. So you see the whole theme of the cowboy, and why Chuck Norris had to be that. Hint, the show was created by Christopher Cannon. Remember I just said that Joshua was the son of Nun, and you remember Joshua is the one who leads Israel into the promised land, aka Canaan, the land of Canaan, the land of milk and honey. You get what I'm saying? Remember I was talking about this earlier about the bumblebee, the yellow and gold, createth the honey. You know what I mean? Through the works of the hidden, the gold, the royalty, and the illumination is revealed. The power of the hidden, hidden wisdom, the black and gold. You feel what I'm saying? So all of this stuff comes together, and it's just about who can see it. You know what I mean? And there's just no way around this stuff, because there's just no way around it. Let's just delve even deeper into it, because obviously when you understand Bruce Lee, anyway, Lee, like I've been talking about this for a while on my channel now, when you understand Lee, when you translate Lewis into the Chinese, it obviously becomes Lee. And when you understand the Lewis is what? The steel, which is a steel device used for lifting up the stone. You feel what I mean? And when you understand the whole thing, like I've been breaking this down for a while now, remember, like as it's written, many shall come in the Most High's name. So hint, like many of the kings, and I've shown it millions of times, many of the entertainers, the old kings, politicians, etc., they all operate in the name of Billy, William, Lewis, Charles, aka and Chuck. Chuck is short for Charles, and all of that. They all operate in these names, because remember, as it's written, that that many shall come in his name, and they shall blaspheme the name of the Most High. So you see how they use it to all operate in the power of the dragon. Remember that the dragon had the power to seek and to destroy the Son of God when he was born. Remember when I was showing the 76 degrees. You know what I mean? And there's just no way around it, because remember I was talking about that, the 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns, 7 times 10 is the 70s, and then the 7 crowns, hence 7 July is the 7th month. Hence why it's called July. You know what I mean? Come on, y'all. But anyway, the stone at the headstone that's measured at 76 degrees is called the Lewis stone. So you see how all of this stuff operates, man. And there's just no way around it. Hence, when you translate praise the Lord, and what does it become? Lewis eternal. You know what I mean? There's no way around it. Lewis eternal. You see how I become Lewis eternal's son. You see that? No way around this stuff, y'all. Hence why Joe Louis had to be trained by Bruce Lee. You see what I'm saying? He had to be trained by Bruce Lee, man. Because he had to go through the power of the dragon. You get what I mean? This stuff is that real. And I want to talk about this right quick. Remember when I was talking about Chuck Norris? Hint this right here, and I explained this before already. Hint why, you know, Charles was known, like in America, as being like one of the ones to invent the toaster out in Minneapolis. Now, this is real serious because what I want to talk about, remember I was talking about the fire, of the power of the dragon, hint the fire. And when you understand that whole thing, like remember I was talking about Chuck Norris, hint Charles create the toaster, one of the creators of the toaster. Hint, you know, when you look at, he did it in Minneapolis. Hint, Cairo, Illinois connects right to Minneapolis. That's why you had the George Floyd, you know, I can't breathe, because they was just trying to blaspheme and say that they was stopping the Messiah from reaching the top of the altar. I explained that before. But anyway, remember I'm talking about how it connects to Cairo, Illinois. Remember, as we are living in spiritual Egypt in America. But hint, as it's written, anyway, in that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. Hint Cairo, hint the toaster, you know, out in Minneapolis. And when you understand that, which is so deep, because remember as it's written, and his feet look as if he was like fine brass, as if he was burnt in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. Hint the burnt in the furnace, hint the fire of the dragon. You get what I'm saying? Remember when I was talking about that earlier with Scorpion, you know, with the whole theme of the power of going into the hells, you know, the furnace. You get what I'm saying? All of this stuff comes together, y'all, and there's just no way around it. And I want to keep this thing going because when you understand this too, what I want to talk about, you know, obviously the Lewis, like I said, is used to raise up stones. And when you understand, remember how it's written, remember John said that, you know, I shall decrease and you shall increase, you know what I mean, to uplift the Messiah. And when you look at it too, remember, as we know that the Messiah looked as if he was the bronze serpent on the pole, you know, to be a salvation for sin. You get what I'm saying? The bronze serpent, the fiery serpent. So you see how all of that comes together, man. The whole thing with the power of the dragon. You remember when you understand how Satan works, remember the enemy imitates everything that's righteous and turn it into evil. You get what I'm saying? Hint the whole theme of being wise as serpents but innocent as doves. The power of the dragon, but the innocent as the dove, representing, you know, having the Holy Spirit dwelling within you. You know, the righteous purpose. So what I want to talk about too, that's why in 1973, which is 3 years before 76, remember I was talking about 1976, that's why remember Bruce Lee, remember he went to the the Opium Lord's Island, hint the Lord Island, and then you remember it was the fortress, like the kingdom. And remember he was the secret agent, Bruce Lee was. Remember that. Let's get deep into this, man. Notice that Williams, remember on the movie Enter the Dragon, remember Han had killed Williams. Remember that? And Han, remember, if you know about Han, remember that was nothing but the old Chinese dynasty, you know what I mean? That was like, had complete rulership at that time. And remember, they was really enforcing the Buddhism. But when you understand this right here, which is very serious, remember Han killed Williams. You feel what I'm saying? And remember, Bruce Lee was over there to like expose, you know, the whole thing of you know, of the dirt that Han was doing. You remember like the whole thing of being a drug lord and you doing a lot of prostitution. You know what I'm saying? So you see, the whole thing was to bring down that kingdom. Hint, through the power of the dragon, you know, the kingdom falls. You get what I'm saying? But remember Williams, like I already broke that down earlier about the name Williams representing nothing but the Most High. So practically they were saying that you remember he killed, on this movie right here, I'm going to play the clip right quick and just chime on in. Just pay attention to this. You see how he actually beat him to death with his iron fist. And when you understand the iron, remember in the scriptures in Daniel 2:43 that the iron and clay, represents the one world order, that Satan, Satan's kingdom of one world order, the iron and clay, flesh and soul dwelling with it together. Remember that the earth, that the flesh inheriteth not the kingdom, but Satan uses it and say that it can. So therefore, it becomes the iron hand. That's how he killed Williams. You see what? You see how wicked this is. This stuff is that real, man. You know what I mean? It's that real. But you remember, like I was talking about it too, though. When I was breaking down about Bruce Lee, remember how they but with the power of the dragon. Now, when you understand how deep this stuff goes, remember he died at 32, and remember he had the brain swelling. I'm gonna delve real deep into this because when you understand the 32 don't represent nothing but the 32 paths of wisdom. You feel what I'm saying? And the whole theme of the tree of life. So when you understand the whole path of reaching, the crown, the higher mind, within the brain, the higher self. You see how they said that he died from swelling because remember in the scriptures as it's written in Psalms 46:3, when the Most High presence is revealed, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. You see what I'm saying? The whole theme of the shaking the mountains represents the Most High presence. Hint, in Revelation 6:16, fall on us mountains and rocks, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Hence, the whole theme of the power of God, is revealed through the mountains. So you see how they said that he had the swelling on the brain. You see how deep this is. Remember, I was already breaking it down about they want to enter the dragon. You get what I'm saying? Hint, the anti-Asian hate. I'm going to explain that later. But when you look at this, like I said, it all represents, reaching the top of the the higher self. You know what I mean? To become as what? Remember, I was breaking it down earlier about the whole theme of the headstone. Remember when I was breaking that down earlier? Right here. Remember I was talking about the headstone earlier. So you see how all of this stuff just comes together, man, and there's just no way around it. Let's delve deeper. Talking about it earlier about about Bruce Lee, obviously with the brain swelling in the presence of God, that represents like the presence of God. His son played on the movie called The Crow. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand the crow is a very significant bird because it's like the raven. It all goes back to the Messiah. Remember the Messiah with the eye of the sparrow, etc. Hint the all-seeing eye. Remember, as we know, obtaining the higher self. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand this, remember the son, years down the line, remember his son died. Remember, I think it was during the filming of The Crow. You get what I'm saying? So like all of this stuff comes together, man. Hint the whole theme of how that all tied, how Bruce Lee with the brain swelling and his son plays on The Crow. Hint the all-seeing eye. You know what I mean? It's all great blasphemy of the holy dove, But you see how all of this stuff comes together, man, and there's just no way around it. Hint this right here. This is when Bruce Lee was talking about, being as water. And he was using all of this stuff right here. I'm going to show you something right quick to really explain where I'm going with this. Emotions are saying to be as water, all of that, showing how to return back to the higher mind, you know what I mean? And be in the power and entering the power of the dragon. All of this stuff is nothing but Masonic hand signs. You feel what I'm saying? Hence the whole theme of the power of the releasing, the theme of of the influence. You feel what I mean? The whole theme of the releasing, pushing out energy. You see the whole theme of all of this, of the returning, all of the things of the flowing, back into, within thyself to be illuminated. You get what I'm saying? The whole theme of the Masonic hand gestures. Come on, y'all. All of that to return back. You know what I mean? The whole theme. He started it out with the pyramid, and he showed the whole way of entering back, into the power of thyself, into the power of the dragon, higher illumination. All high level masonry, man. Hint that he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember on the movie, what was it? The Game of Death. And when you understand the theme of death, the death, all that leads back to the theme of what? Of the great regeneration. Because remember when I was talking about it earlier about the 76 degrees. When you understand 76, Hint 7 plus 6 equal 13. And remember that all leads back to the great rebirth. You feel what I'm saying? The whole theme of the great rebirth. So you understand how deep this stuff goes. Hint that he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the game of death, because I'm going to really explain this, because it represents the higher, them obtaining, the higher levels. So when you understand Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, his name used to be Lewis. Remember I was breaking down the name Lewis earlier. You feel what I mean? And notice how he fought him when he became Abdul-Jabbar, because, when you understand that he turned into Islam, converted to, Islam. And when you understand Islam, that all goes back to the power of the Mecca stone. You feel what I mean? Remember, I was breaking it down about the Saturn cube, the cube of Saturn. And when you understand that, that all goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the black and the white, going from being, revealed, going from being seen into going into being, hidden and being revealed. It's greater power in that. Remember I was talking about Bruce Lee with the swelling and then his son playing the crow. Remember that. So you see how all of this stuff comes together. I'm going to break this down right quick. Pay attention to this right here. This stuff is real, man. You see how Bruce Lee, how he defeated him. Remember, he defeated him because, remember, he obviously got him. This is the movie he had on the yellow and the black. Remember, I was talking about that earlier with Scorpion with the gold and black. So you see how he has the choke on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's how he beat him. And when you understand the whole theme of the choking, remember that all goes back to what I was talking about with the whole theme of the headstone. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand that, which is so serious, because hint, the Illuminati pyramid does not have the headstone. You know what I mean? Just the all-seeing eye. Because that represents them trying to conquer, and remove the head. Hint, to choke you to death. You know what I mean? The choke hold, the triangle choke. Cut off the blood circulation. Remember? Because remember I was talking about this before. Obviously, as we know that the blood of the Messiah is what? The salvation. Hint, to cut the blood off to the brain so that you go to sleep. No headstone. You feel what I mean? This stuff is that real, man. Hint, the whole thing on the movie, Bruce Lee, remember he had casted him. This is way down the line though, because I think the movie was unfinished for real. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but it came out in like 1978 if I ain't mistaken. But this is like years down after his death. But you see how you got the what's his name, Kareem name on the movie was called Mantis, and he was the 5th floor guardian. And when you understand Mantis, all Mantis means is prophet. And when you understand the praying mantis, the bug, I'm going to show you this right quick. The praying mantis don't represent nothing but the great prosperity. Hint, the 5th floor, right? Remember I said his name was 5th floor. I mean, he was the 5th floor guardian, and he was on the, his name was Mantis. Now, when you understand the number 5 deals with the Son of Man. That's why you see Kobe had the 5 rings. If you've been following my channel, I've been breaking it down about Kobe, how they call him the Black Mamba, and how the Messiah is as the bronze serpent, and all. Remember, I already broke all that down. But just to keep this stuff going, hint, the 5th floor guardian, and he's the Mantis, because remember on the 5th day of the month of the 5th year, you know what I mean? I mean, in the 5th day of the 4th month, the sky opened and I saw visions of God. Remember, this is Ezekiel 1. And this talks about the will within the will. You feel what I'm saying? So you hint the 5th floor guardian, because remember in that the 5th day of the 4th month, remember Ezekiel had the vision of what? Of the Messiah being revealed through the whirlwind. You feel what I'm saying? Hint the, cut the breath, cut the blood supply off so he goes to sleep, can't breathe. But when I was talking about that earlier about George Floyd, I can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? Because they saying they don't want the Messiah to reach the top of the altar, cut off the head. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand the choking them out, hint the mantis. Remember I was talking about that 5th floor guardian that all deals with the will within the will, where the Messiah is revealed. Remember I was talking about Chuck Norris earlier, the wheel within the wheel, raising up stones like a pulley system, like, when you use the ropes and you raising up stones, hit the wheel within the wheel within a wheel, until the Messiah is what? The headstone. You feel what I'm saying? Just simple, masonry work for people who know stonemason work. So you understand that stuff is that real, man. Hint the 5th floor. This is why Illuminati, their 5th floor of the pyramid, is what? The whole theme of the banking system. Hint that all deals with the banking. Hit the whole theme of what? Remember that the treasures of heaven. That's why they utilize it for their wicked plan. You know what I mean? They use everything and make it evil because they use the power of it for wickedness. Remember when I was talking about the name Lewis earlier? They used the name for great blasphemy against the Most High. Many shall come in my name. Remember I was mentioning that in the whole theme of the Lewis Eternal. Hold on, my fault. Lewis Eternal. Remember that. Hint, your boy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you see how he has the arms crossed. This is when Bruce Lee first came in the room. He was sitting with his arms crossed. And he was actually sitting down fighting them at first. And I actually can show that right quick. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me just go back right quick. Let me get to it. See how he was, hold on, right here. Look at this. You see that? The whole thing with the seated position, you know, representing the authority. You see how deep this stuff goes, man. So when you look at that right here, which is crazy, is because obviously, like I was talking about it earlier, you see how he was sitting down with the arms folded, because that all goes back to the whole theme of creating the X. You know, remember how X represents nothing but Christos, Christ, anointed one, Kara. Remember I was talking about karate earlier, and Kara meaning anointed Messiah. And you see how he's seated with the folded arms. All of this stuff comes together. Can you remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? He obviously was what? He played for the Bucks at the time. And when you understand that the buck, anyway, remember, they don't represent nothing but the deer buck in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Hint, Israel in the wilderness, you know, seeking to reach the promised land, like the deer. You know what I mean? And you see how he has number 33, because that obviously represent nothing but the great illumination. You see what I'm saying? Now, all of this stuff. That's why he had to become a Laker down the line, because the Lakers deal with the whole thing. Remember, I was talking about the whole theme of the water, be as water. The Laker deals back with the living waters, aka the Messiah. You feel what I'm saying? The lakes, the waters. Just to show that right quick. But hint the whole theme of crossing the arms. And you remember during the time of Joseph, remember he was ruling Egypt. Remember that he got embalmed. You remember that? And so did Jacob, his father. You know, Jacob, the progenitor of the tribes of Israel. Remember, he got embalmed, you know what I mean, in a tomb. And same with Joseph in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Just to show my point. Remember on the show Martin, remember you had Brother Man from the Fifth Flow. And remember, he used to always come in through the exit window. Remember the fire escape window. You get what I'm saying? The whole thing with the fire escape, because hint the whole thing of how the Most High dealeth with the fire. Remember I was talking about that earlier, the Messiah looked as if he was burnt in a bronze furnace. You know what I'm saying? None of this stuff is by mistake. Hint the fifth floor. This stuff is real because that all deals back to the revealing of the Messiah, the will within the will. You get what I'm saying? No mistake, man. No mistake. And remember how they do the anti-Asian hate, no anti-Asian hate, and everything is being pushed so strong? Because remember I was talking about the Asian with the railroad, the Chinese with the railroad, and the whole theme of bridging the gap, you know, the connection of the one world, mixing everything, becoming the one world order. So you see how you got the Philippines is Ophir. Remember King Solomon used to get all his wealth from the Philippines. You feel what I'm saying? Hint, the 7 churches are at the Asian Minor. You see that? The whole thing of the 7 churches in Revelation, they are at the Asia Minor. Notice, like with PlayStation, how it comes from Japan. And you see how you got the rod. You look at the symbol. The red part look like the rod of the Messiah, and then the blue and the yellow and like the turquoise, it looks like what? It looks like a maze. You get what I'm saying? So hint the rod. You know, you going through the maze to hold the rod. You get what I mean? I'm gonna show you this right quick to further explain it. I want to just show you this. Remember when I was talking about it earlier about the I am? Hold on. The I am right here with the maze, and how he reached the power of the I am through the will of the dragon. You know what I mean? Hint that whole thing, man. It's just no way around it. I want to just show something else. Notice how you had, I want to just explain this Asian aspect. Notice how you had the first Chinese born player to ever score a touchdown was from, his name was Jackson. Hint the son of Jacob. Remember that about the 12 tribes of Israel. Notice that he had, they had scored the touchdown. They was winning by what, 56 points. You know what I mean? Come on, man. And he was the first Chinese player to ever score a touchdown. You see how you see the players right there? The yellow and the red, the yellow and burgundy team, the ones on the line. Notice that you see 7 and you see 6. You see that? The 76. Remember when I was talking about that earlier, the Messiah being at 76 degrees. There's no way around this stuff. You see that? And their team is actually called the Sun Devils. You feel what I mean? The whole theme of the Sun Devil opened the, into the power of the dragon. Remember the dragon had the power to try to destroy the Messiah, man, when he was born. Hence the whole theme of the team that they beat. Both of the teams are Arizona. Hence they both are in the desert. You get what I'm saying? The whole thing. Remember Jerusalem, the desert, in the wilderness. Remember Israel in the wilderness, in the desert. And you got them both in the desert. Arizona State versus Arizona. Arizona is the wildcat. It's the cat more so. And then you got the Sun Devil. Hint the whole thing with the cat. Remember the Messiah is the Lion of Judah. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Sun Devil. Because through the power of the Asian, that like hint the theme of what? The power of the dragon. You know what I mean? This stuff is that real, y'all. And there's no way around it. Hint this movie that came out, Boogie, with Pop Smoke. Remember you got remember the Asian dude was trying to like say that he wanted to get respect and be able to play basketball. You feel what I'm saying? Hint that whole theme and how he was battling Pop Smoke. You know what I'm saying? Hint the whole theme of that. Hint Jeremy Lin started out as the Golden State. Remember he was on Golden State Warriors. And when you understand that, remember I was breaking that down. The Golden State Warrior represent nothing but the bridge, aka the Golden State Warriors represent the saints of God. And remember, Jeremy Lin won his first title with what? The Raptors, aka the Beast. Hint the Sun Life is their sponsor. You know what I mean? A raptor represent the dragon, the beast, the dinosaur. Hence Sun Life, power of the enlightenment. You know what I mean? Remember in the scriptures, it's written in Revelation 16 that the kings of the east, aka the China, the Chinese, etc., will battle against the saints of God. You get what I'm saying? Hint the mixing the art, mixing the craft. Hint Jet Li. Remember I was talking about Lee don't mean nothing but Lewis. Hint the jet represent. Remember I said the Messiah is caught up into the throne of God, aka the jet. Hint him and DMX. Remember the X represents Christ. You remember DMX calls himself Dark Man X anyway. Hint DMX and Jet Li together, and they, they the cradle to the grave. Come on, man. Remember Jet Li was called the One. You remember that? He had the movie The One. Remember he was battling his clone. And when you understand that, hint he's standing on top of the altar, man, because when you understand the whole thing of battling the clone, all that represented was nothing but like, remember the Messiah coming as a sacrifice first, and then the Messiah become a king. That's all that represent. Like the battle of like the old self. You know what I'm saying? Hint how he's called the One. Remember the Messiah is called the One. Come on, y'all. Hint Jet Li and Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Notice how it says the fastest hands in the east meets the biggest mouth in the west. Notice you got the red and the blue. You see what I'm saying? A hint is rush hour, all dealing with time. You see that? There's just no way around this. The whole theme of the power of the dragon. Enter the dragon. Hint Wu-Tang. You already know they deal with the power of the Shaolin. The Wu-Tang Clan and the Shaolin. And you see how you have the guillotine. Remember, as you know anyway, the guillotine ain't represent nothing but the whole theme of beheading the Messiah. Remember I was talking about that earlier. No head, remove the head. No headstone. Remember I was talking about that earlier, and the whole theme of choking out Kareem. No headstone. So when you understand that right there, that stuff is that deep, because when you understand that, which is crazy, with the guillotine, you know what I mean? Hint, they used to call themselves the Killer Bees. And they operated in the power of the Shaolin, power of the Wu-Tang Clan, the ancient China, you know what I mean? So when you understand this stuff, is that real, man. There's no way around it. They used to call themselves the Killer Bees, hint, as it's written that my enemies encompass me as bees. Like as killer bees, you know what I mean? Come on, yo. Trying to say that they battled the Messiah. Hint, this was called the mystery of chess boxing. Remember when I was talking about that earlier with the black and the white? with Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee with the stone wall, aka the altar, the pyramid. Notice the battling. You see that mystery of chess boxing. Hint the liquid swords. You see how he has the sword, because this is very serious. I'm gonna get into this in a second. But notice he's using the power of the chain, because the chain don't represent nothing but the whole theme of having the Messiah, you know what I mean? And you know, the whole theme of Israel being in captivity. You see what I'm saying? The power of the captivity, and you leave blood on the Masonic checkerboard floor, because that represents conquering the slaves. You feel what I mean? That's all they're saying. They saying we're gonna conquer those we have that we oppress. You know, through our Mason wizardry. Hint the liquid swords. I'm gonna get into this right quick. I want y'all to hear me out on this, because when you understand the waters, hint liquid swords. When you understand the water, you remember as it was written. Remember the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. You see that? The flood was remember that the dragon sent out waters to try to drown the woman with the boy, the man child, aka Messiah, during the time of the birth. You see that? Hint Bruce Lee be as water. Remember when I was talking about this earlier, because when you understand the whole thing, all of it represents returning, you know, back to what? Go from being at the pyramid, go through the motions, be as, you know, come as the cup, and then you enter back into the power, you know, of the higher mind, being as a god. You know what I'm saying? Hint the whole thing anyway with the belly button. You remember as it's written in scripture, he that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his body shall flow rivers of living water. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand the whole theme of the remember the Most High sent the flood. You get what I mean? That's why they used the liquid swords, because they were trying to say that they was able to, you know, destroy, you know, the Most High saints, and destroy you know about the battle against the saints through the power of the dragon. Hint the Wu-Tang Clan Shaolin. That's why you got blood on the floor. But you see that anyway. The belly button, when you understand the belly button, you know that's the sacral chakra, and it deals with creativity and sexuality, things of that nature. So when you understand that, which is so deep, hint it's the power. It's orange, just as the color of the sun. You feel what I'm saying? And remember when I was showing that earlier about Jeremy Lin, how he had became a raptor after being with Golden State Warriors, hint the saints of God, and then you see how he have the sun life, you know, the beast, the dragon, the power of the fire. You see that? Hint the whole theme of the sacral, you know, chakra, when you understand how this works and how they use it, is to try to say, okay, look, we're using it for this, you know, to try to bring forth, you know, the theme of bringing forth the power of returning back to our form, so that we can keep, you know, destroying the saints of God. Blood on the floor, liquid swords. You know what I mean? I just use this as an example to really explain what I'm showing, you know, because hint anyway that the brain, the second stomach, the stomach is what? The second brain. Hint the intuition. You feel what I mean? The whole theme of the intuition and creativity within the belly. Hint the waters, you know, shall flow up, living water shall flow up out of his belly. Hint the Vitruvian man, the golden ratio with the belly button, and then you go work your way around. Be as water, my friend. You see how deep this stuff goes, yo, and it's all about if you can understand these codes and understand the power of the craft. You see what I'm saying? But I'm actually going to end that right here. I just really want to just touch on this, because I'm gonna get some more videos going. Just keep on, you know, sending me requests. I'm getting to them as quick as I can. This stuff take time, because I want to be able to make sure I come with it, you know what I mean? And keep dropping this heat on y'all, keep enlightening y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all can keep doing your own research as well. You know, you watch the videos, you know, you go back, oh, hey, yo, add this. Hey, man, you know, this too, you can comment, you know, you can be able to refer, you know, and if you're doing your own channel, you know, shout out to you. We got to keep pushing this truth, man, because this stuff is real. You feel what I mean? I love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. I got more coming. And like I said, you know, people are, man, you know, this is for the truthers, man. I'm not a truther. You feel what I mean? I just really just let the Most High speak through me. You know, I just reveal things that I'm giving understanding of, that I come to see. You know, like I said, it's all about the eyes to see, ears to hear. I'm not creating no OnlyFans. I'm not creating these things. Say, oh, you got to pay for this in order to watch my channel, man. Come on, y'all. I'm not about to do that. This stuff is supposed to be, you know, truthful, to be free, man. If I didn't have to pay to learn it, why should I charge you? You feel what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. Why would I charge you? You know what I'm saying? This stuff is, man, it's all about the treasures in heaven, man. I'm not about to charge people, you know, for learning these things, because, like, I didn't know. Like, why would I charge you? You know what I mean? I wasn't charged. So I'm going to end that right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.